Hello, geometry class. I got a question about number 9 on the 7.4 work packet. I believe this is 7.4. Let me just double check. Yes, 7.4 work packet. So I'm going to go through number 9 and hopefully, and a little bit of 10, start number 9, start number 10 for you. And hopefully you can figure out the rest of how to do this from what I show you here. So, for number 9, it's asking you to fill out this table. So they have this table right here that fills in one of two parts each time. So it's important to remember that for a 45, 45, 90 triangle, hypotenuse is equal to leg times the square root of 2. So if you're looking at this 45, 45, 90 right triangle, x is going to be the length of the leg, which is the same for both sides. So I'm going to replace leg with x, root 2, and y is the hypotenuse. It's opposite the right angle. Okay, so if I'm looking at this table, and I know that the x is 2, that means y will be 2 plugged in for x would be 2 root 2. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So if y is just root 2, actually I'm going to jump over to this 3 root 2. So if y is root 3 root 2, well, if you're looking at this over here, this x here, if that's 3 is filled in for that, then, or sorry, if y, the whole thing is 3 root 2, then x would be 3. Okay, so this means that this is 3. So the relationship is that whatever x is, y will be 2 times that, sorry, will be root 2 times whatever x is. So hopefully you can figure out 7. Well, what would it be down here? Well, 7 root 2. I won't write that, but if you're listening, you get that answer. One of the ones that might be tricky would be root 2. Well, if all you have is root 2, then the x would have to be 1. Okay, 1 times root 2 is root 2. So that's all I'm going to fill out. Hopefully you can figure out the other two. Looking at the number 10, this is a little bit trickier because there's 3 values now. You have the shorter leg, the longer leg, and the hypotenuse. But remember, the formulas are the hypotenuse is equal to 2 times the shorter leg. I'll just do 2 times shorter. Okay, and then we also have the longer, I'm going to give a little space there, leg is equal to shorter times root 3. Okay, so for the letters we're given, if A is the shorter leg because it's opposite 30, A is the shorter leg because it's opposite 30, okay, then A will be filled in here. We have 2. The shorter leg is also down here. We're not done filling that out, but A times root 3, okay. Hypotenuse is opposite 90, so that'll be C, and longer is B. So now we have our A, B, and C filled in. And given any one of these items, we can find the others. So, for instance, if A is 5, then B is going to be 5 times root 3. Okay? And if A is 5, then C is going to be 2 times 5. 2 times 5 is 10. Okay? If C is 8, okay, I'm going to jump over here to C is 8. So 2 times what is 8? Well, A is going to be 4 then, because the shorter leg is always half the hypotenuse. And once I have the shorter leg, which for this for the 30, 60, 90 special triangle, or special right triangle, you always have to go through the shorter leg. Both of these equations go through the shorter leg. So you need to find the shorter leg if you don't know. So if you don't know A, you need to find A first for all of these. And then once I know A, then I can find B because it's going to be A times root 3. So it's going to be 4 times root 3. Okay. I'll do one more. B is 2 root 3. So if B is 2 root 3, then what times root 3 is A? Well, it's going to be 2. And then C is going to be double that, 4. So that's how you can fill out the rest of those. So hopefully that helps. The other issue might be how do you type this up in free math? So let me bring up free math here. Let me escape this other problem. So I'm just going to create a new one here. So if I'm typing this up in free math, this is what you can do. If you want to type up, this is what I would recommend you do. So for 10, I'm going to just type up 10 real quickly here. I'm going to write hypotenuse equals 2 times shorter. So that's what I figured out. Hit enter, or that's the formula I should say. And I'm going to replace hypotenuse with C. It's not B, C. Put some spaces to give a little bit of space. And then 2 and an A is shorter. Okay, that's the first one. And then the second one, the second formula I should say, is shorter times square root of 3. So we know shorter is A. And then we found out that longer would be B. I'm going to line up the equal signs there with some spaces. Okay. So I just typed out hypotenuse. Just typed it out. And everything else. So then the harder part might be making this table. Actually, let me do a new blank. So to make this table, actually, you know what you can do? I'm going to decide right now, if you're listening to this, you can just put in parens here, C work packet for table. It's going to space 4 weird because of the F thinks it's a function. But for table, because it's a little messy, and then I have your image. So if you send the image and make that note, I can look on your image. I don't want to do that for everything, like a normal problem. I shouldn't need to do that, but for things like this and things that require some drawing, that works. However, if you really want to try and put this in here, you could do A, put some spaces, 5, put some spaces, 2, put some spaces, 4, put some spaces, 6, and then whatever the next number is, and then come down here and just replace these numbers. So B, you're going to want to space it out well though. So 5 square root of 3. So you see how that pushes everything. So I'm going to delete some spaces, or I might need to go up here and add some space to just make it line it up well. Okay, so I'm going to add some space to that, delete some space here. 2 square root 3. Okay, so now I need to put some more space here. Make sure, like, aesthetically it should be easier. So that's another way you could do it. I would need one more in here for C. So I have 10, lining up well, just using space bar to make some spaces to line it up well. But please line it up well if you're going to do it that way. So you could either say C work packet in this case for 9 and 10, or you could try to set it up like this. Either way works. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Thank you and good day.